Five on the left, two on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation. By night and by day, His holy prophet, noble Jawali. Ashe. Islam. Prophet warns all Muslims, governors ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical, agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their carding button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Noble Ali. Islam. To be proclaimed in every meeting. Islam. I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claim I was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds, the ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works which I have performed in the past few years. Prophet Noble Ali. To the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, this is the instruction from your prophet Noble Ali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is now on, but the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, I Noble Ali. And that's why many hearts have been turned to stone, many have eyes to see but cannot see, ears to hear but cannot hear, lest they will be confounded of their sins. These are trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. Act accordingly, and Allah will bless you for your good work. Peace, your divine prophet, Noble Ali. Islam, peace and love to all. We're here for a Sunday. It's been a while. We're here for a Sunday Canaanland Moors session.
Honors to all the Moors in the chat. Honors to all the Moors worldwide, wherever you are. Supreme honors to you. A few years ago, we started up the ball camp because we realized that um, the ball stuff's getting out of hand. It's getting crazy, and people actually are putting all this finance into you know assisting their children in their lives, as far as sports. And many do whatever they do, been doing it. A lot of people doing great work. A lot of people just, it's a money grab because they know, about the desperation of our people. So we started up the camp. In the past 2 years, we had about 40 go through the camp so far. Past 2 years, every end of summer, right before school starts back up. And the other side of it is that we saw that the game just isn't the same anymore. So on different levels, like one of the Moors right now still plays right now. Actually, today he's playing a game right now. Like still playing, right? A lot of others doing coaching, or their children are in it or whatever. So this we always talk about this thing of the importance of the the athletics played in grooming us, whether it's going out riding your bike for how much ever hours. You leave in the morning, don't get home till street lights and all that stuff, riding around all day on the bike, every hill, no walking the bike up the hill and all that stuff, right? So exercise has been something that's it's part of our being. So we they have these leagues out here. They have leagues, different leagues, and there's a Toronto Chinese basketball league, and they have different days of the week that they have their league play. Different age groups, different crazy. They have malls. They have a mall with a gym in it. Right? So it's an actual mall. There's a part of the mall where there's a gym. Right? These Asians, and they run these, specifically Chinese. They run this league or these leagues out of these gyms, and sometimes they might use schools or whatever. So our Let It Fly team has two teams. We have a high school team that's in the league, and then we have the man team. So yesterday, the high school team played their semifinals to go to the finals for their tier. All right, and they won, so they got the finals whenever that date is. And then yesterday was the finals for the men's league for the Let It Fly team, and it's two halves, and first half was finished, and we were down 23. But the team that we were playing apparently they did some recruiting. They did some recruiting. So whoever they had on their team, they were they were pretty much dominating. Like they were dominating based on who they had, right? But because the word on the street, like I don't go to all the adult games, but so I haven't seen every team. So last year, this same team beat Let It Fly team by 2 points last year. So down 23 at the half. And at about 6 minutes left, we're down 9. And then about 5 minutes left or so, we're down 5. It gets to the end and tied game, seconds left. Tied game, seconds left. We score, go up by 2. Right, seconds, right? Their ball inbounding. They get a play where the dude has a layup to tie the game. Right, send it into overtime. Layup. 6 foot, whatever. Right. Killing all game killing. Right? Because 6 whatever, he's getting every rebound. They have a disadvantage because they have 6 foot whoever on their team. Right? We have a 6'2", but he's not that. This man is look. Everybody's looking up to him like that. Gets the ball, goes to shoot the layup. The ball goes off the backboard and rolls around the rim. Now, there's about 8 plays. There's about 8 plays where the ball did that. Watching other games, games before our games, right? In this particular gym, right? So for whatever reason, you shoot and the ball does this roll thing on the rim, right? I personally seen it 8 times. This is why it's standing up, right? And he shoots the layup and the ball does this roll thing on the rim and just rolls out. It just rolls out. It was the slow motion thing that they say when people hit the game winning shot and like the Kawhi shot with the bounce, and you're waiting. It was like that, waiting. And this thing's rolling. And it just rolls out. And we win. Win the championship. Right? This is one of the MVP. This is the MVP of the game. The MVP of the game. So they get a trophy. They give you goggles with 2 bottles of champagne. They give you rings. It's an actual real thing, right? Right. Remember, this is the Chinese basketball league that the Moors went in there and took one of their stuff, right? But it's a good league. It's a good league. There's never any BS going on, especially when you win. It's a good league. It's a very, very good league. So we're snowed out today. This is going back to why we're here today. So we're snowed out today. We're snowed out. And we said we're going to cancel Temple today. Forget that. No sense going out there killing ourselves, right? Stay in the house. And I said, you know what? This will be a good one for for a class. This would be a good one for a class because we were, I was saying we were down 23. We're down 23. And what it took to come back down 23 against this team that we were playing against, that they were up 23. They were up 23 to the point where they had their maybe like 15 people, whether it was, wives, friends, girlfriends, or whatever like that, of every player on their team. They had their crew over there that was cheering for them, right? They were hitting threes. They had this one European who was like some D1 or something like that, and he's just coming up, dribble, lefty, just coming up, dribble, jumper, and it's net. Like hitting stuff that you're like, okay, yeah, he definitely plays serious ball somewhere else. Like he plays serious ball. He's not just whoever out here coming to play. He's still in supreme shape, right? Killing people up 23. To erase 23 points and win by 2, right, is some divine all that, but there's also what had to be done, because Allah's going to work with those who work with themselves. And the path led me to the path, right? The path of getting out of the 23 led me to the path. And, again, we give the highest honors to Noble Drew Ali, because there's so much things that he said that is right and exact and truth, that we could just pick anything and it would prove itself worthy. And one of the things that Noble Drew Ali said is that we honor all the prophets. And it was a fascinating thing first being introduced to this, that how is he saying all of them? That he must be a very humble individual to say, not just honor me, but honor everybody else too, who has the same position as me. Honor them too. So I always go to the Buddhist teachings, because that was a starting point in the evolution. And it was through the Africans in Asia. You could look that up on YouTube. The Africans in Asia. And the whole idea that those pale people, the pale people with the slanty eyes and all that stuff, that had the league, that we beat their ass in their league, because in the season everybody got their ass beat, right? It was just our own selfish whatever why there was issues. Our own selfish whatever in the first half is why we were down 23. It was our thing, our being a savage, right? Our not living by the principles, right? For a half. We didn't live by the principles, didn't play together, people doing one-on-one, whatever. We do feeling they got to do whatever it is that they want to do and not do for the whole, all of that. right? Made us go down 23. And all this is this interconnectedness of everything, that some basketball led to some Buddhism. So we're talking about the 6 perfections, the 6 far-reaching attitudes in the Buddhist teachings that deal with your liberation and your enlightenment. And we'll go through them, but one sticks out for the theme of today. Buddha indicated 6 important mental states that we need to develop if we want to reach any of our positive goals in life. They're usually translated as perfections, since by perfecting them fully as the Buddhas have, we too can attain liberation and enlightenment, right? Ye are gods and all that stuff. Remember the ye are gods stuff? That's not Buddhist, right? Oh, so this is what Drew Ali means when he's talking about honors to divine prophets, because all the prophets, when you check all their teachings, you'll realize all their teachings line up. I prefer to call them far-reaching attitudes in accord with their Sanskrit name, paramita, because with them, we can reach the far shore of the ocean of our problems. Because with them, we can reach the far shore, the salvation, of the ocean of our problems, cares of the world, and the foot on the far shore of salvation. Oh, you see why he said honor all divine prophets? Because when you check, all the prophets are saying the same stuff. We don't just keep these 6 mental attitudes as a nice looking list. Rather, they are states of mind that we need to blend together and use as we go about our daily life. In line with the 3 levels of motivation found in the Lam Ring, the graded path, developing them in our lives now brings us enormous benefits. They enable us to avoid and solve problems. They help us to rid ourselves of disturbing emotions and mental states. They empower us to be of best help to others. Be of best help to others. So on our team, we have, well, it's not a more that is 6 foot, whatever this man was, but mentally he was 6 foot, whatever this guy was, right? Talking about empowering us to be the best help to others. So this is the men's league. So coach and all that stuff, you know what I mean? They're going out there and we're men, we're playing golf. So this more took the position of coach, right? This is in the second half, right? And the key to the game was when he said full court press, because men's league. And you're not getting that in men's league. This thing was like watching those elite teams, right? That this is the game of the season where they get to show and prove that what their coach was talking about all these months or whatever like that is demonstrated on. So because everybody had the mindset of, already being on team and knowing how to play or whatever like that, when he said full court press, everybody got in their position. just knowing, just having it as genetic memory, genetic basketball, high school memory, the good old days where you leave it on the floor. Now, he could have sat back and just been, talking BS to the ref like everybody else, or, oh, go guard him and all that stuff. But how he empowered these brothers to go from down 23 to winning the game, not just the game, but the championship game. That you put all your finance in to do whatever for this league. That only means something to these people in this league or whatever. You know what I mean? And when the game's done, everybody's sweating and all that stuff, but everybody's playing hard, and it's a real thing. It's a real thing. It's not some, I'm bringing it out of its personal thing to show you how divine all this stuff is. The empowerment that it took to come from down 23, right? And then, the divine, because of all these things working together, right? All these things working at the same time, for that ball to roll out and they lose by 2 this year, just like they lost last year, you can't make this stuff up. You just have to be amazed and enlightened, because you're a part of it, and you're seeing it happen, and you know that it is what it is. Right? When we're training to develop these positive attitudes, we need to keep in mind one or more of these goals. This gives us a strong incentive to keep on working to strengthen them further. 1, generosity. Generosity is the willingness to give to others whatever is needed. Its benefits are, it gives us a sense of self-worth, that we have something to contribute to others, helping us to avoid or get out of problems of low self-esteem and depression. So all the sufferers of that, low self-esteem and depression, especially your children, them being generous could help them get out of that. Them not being fat and lazy. Just like the game before us, there was a team that was playing, and we played them throughout the we played them once in the season. And when they played us, this one man had like 12 3-pointers or something like that. Crazy, right? About 12 3-pointers. So last night I was building with another brother about the same individual, right? And he's saying, no wonder he's getting all these threes, because you lose them. Why do you lose him? Because he was about 300 pounds or something. He was about 300 pounds, but his muscle memory, it didn't even, because I'm sure he wasn't always 300 pounds. I don't think he was always 300 pounds. No way. Right? He probably had to get there. And if he was 300 pounds, like all his life, then it's real. Right? He's a real one. He just wasn't the slim guy, but he's a real one. Right? He's one that could have probably made it or something like that. But because he's 300 pounds, they're like, nah, we're not taking the chance. He's running up and down like everybody else, playing, doing all the stuff. But you lose him because he's 300 pounds and nobody's even paying attention to him. But he's 12 for 12 from 3. Or he's 11 for 12 from 300 pounds. right? Adding something, giving, being generous. He didn't have to go. He didn't have to play. But he gave himself to help others. His little piece got them to the finals. His little piece to add got them to the finals. And they ended up winning too. They won in their tier. They were their championship. Champions of their tier. Right? It helps to overcome attachment, miserliness, and stinginess, which are unhappy states of mind that bring reoccurring problems. So you're playing attachment for no reason. Right? Like staying in stuff that you shouldn't be staying in, because obviously this whoever doesn't care what you attach to them for. Yeah. Always trying to find somebody to be in your misery with you, instead of uplifting, instead of wanting to be uplifted. Just in the sorrows all the time. That's the only thing you see. You don't see anything happy or amazing. All you see is sorrow. Right? Stingy. Being tight, being super tight. Yeah, you really don't have $1? It's only $1. And just probably needs a whatever. $1? You can't put $1 in the cup? Help this guy right here? It helps others who are in need. Generosity. 2, ethical self-discipline. Ethical self-discipline is where we refrain from destructive behavior by realizing its disadvantages. Its benefits are: it enables us to avoid all the problems that arise from acting, speaking, and thinking harmfully. It creates a basis of trust in others, which is the foundation of true friendship. Trust is the foundation of true friendship. What did it say? Trust is the foundation of true friendship. So why do they keep telling you trust is some papers? Why do you keep going there with trust with you is about protecting some property? Trust is the foundation of true friendship. You think Noah Joel needed some trust if 20 more are gonna be in a shootout over him? You think they need some papers if they're gonna defend the prophet to the death? It helps us to overcome our compulsive negative behavior and develop self-control, leading to a calmer, more stable mind. It prevents us from hurting others. Ethical self-discipline. 3, patience. Patience is the ability to endure difficulties without getting angry or upset. Its benefits are: it enables us to avoid making an ugly scene when things go wrong or when we or others make mistakes. You see that a lot with certain people, don't you? Certain Negro, black, colored, whoever's. They get mad, want to kill the white man and all that stuff. When the first slave master was their own, making a scene for nothing. It helps us to overcome anger, impatience, and intolerance, which are disturbing states of mind. We're able to keep calm in the face of difficulties. It allows us to help others better because we don't get angry with them when they don't follow our advice, make mistakes, or act irrationally, or give us a hard time. Right? Just like dealing with these babies, kids, and all that. And they don't want to hear. Their ears are hard and they can't hear. You get mad. That's their stuff they're gonna have to deal with. No bitterness. No angry. You don't want to take advice? No problem. Go fall on your face then. And right here after you fall on your face, to tell you I told you so, and then give you more advice again. And let them play themselves. It's all good. Perseverance. Perseverance is the heroic courage not to give up when the going gets rough, but to continue exerting effort consistently to the end. Its benefits are: it gives us the strength to finish what we've started without getting discouraged. It helps us to overcome feelings of inadequacy and laziness, of procrastination, where we distract ourselves with trivial things. It enables success in accomplishing the most difficult tasks and stops us from giving up on those who are hardest to help. Mental stability, concentration. Mental stability, concentration, is a state of mind totally free from mental wandering, dullness, and emotional upset. Its benefits are: it enables us to stay focused on whatever we're doing so we can avoid mistakes and accidents. It helps us to overcome stress and anxiety, and being overexcited, spaced out, or emotionally agitated. It allows us to focus on what others are saying and how they're behaving so we can see better how to help them. 6, discriminating awareness, wisdom. Discriminating awareness, wisdom, is the state of mind that differentiates correctly and with certainty between what is appropriate and inappropriate, what is correct and incorrect. Its benefits are: it allows us to see clearly and correctly what to do and how to behave in any particular situation, stopping us from doing something we'll later regret. It allows us to see clearly and correctly what to do. So somebody sees nationality and birthrights, and their first thought is, oh, I could sell this for finance. They're going to regret later. And just like the whoever's that didn't take the advice, don't worry, let them go fall on their face. Let them go make love to regret. They're going to learn. Don't worry. Because some that's just how they learn. Some just, they need to get their ass beat. Some just get the look. They just get the look and they start doing their stuff immediately. Some hear it and get the spine shivers, and they know, I'm going over there. Stay right here. And others, they don't see or hear. They don't feel, they have no spidey senses, nothing like that. They're going to go do some dumb stuff. It helps us to overcome indecision and confusion. Many of the people right now suffering from confusion. We were talking about the Chinese basketball league. Well, it's not the yellow basketball league. How come it's not yellow basketball league? They have yellow in their flag. Many in confusion now. They lack wisdom. Know thyself, and they don't know jack. It enables us to evaluate the situations of others accurately, so we know what to say and do that will be of most benefit. Right? Being able to analyze situations of others. Say, oh, that's why you lost your arm. You put it in the grinder. Oh, all right. You probably don't want to put your hand there. Learn from others. And make sure you better learn from others, especially their mistakes. If you don't, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. It's only if you don't learn, though. If you learn, then you're on the right path. So the one that stuck out is where we're at. The one that was like a ton of bricks fell on me. It was the perseverance. Because sitting back and watching these Moors down by 23, find it through this other brother playing coach. It was like the switch went off. It was like the switch went off and everybody went to that place of when the last time they were each individual, right, went back to that place when they were down 23, when they were on their lowest of lows. It was over. This stuff was done. People were high-fiving and yang and all that stuff. The stuff was over. People were partying. This is at the half. At the half, they were partying. They went up 23 quick. And to win by 2 in the end. To climb that mountain, that 23 mountain, 23,000 feet, 23 steps, 23 whatever. To go from 23 to 0 took perseverance. And again, these are the lessons that we try to instill with Key 20, with the young ones, right? Children's school, certain dealing with children on a daily basis, having them right in their thinking, having them, realize these things. Right? So now the younger lift team now they want their rings now, going back again to doing for others, because the elder statesmen didn't win for theirself. The elder statesmen won to show the younger ones coming up that, hey, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. So now they have no choice but to go win now. How inspired do you think they're going to be now? Knowing that the same team name, same uniform and all that stuff, knowing that the older guys went out there and they won. What do you think these young ones are going to do? What do you think they want? Because some of them were there too. Some of them played in the man's game. They got their little 2 minutes. because they're the next ones coming up. You know, to prepare them, so they already got a taste of it. You know, they got their sip, and then they have filings coming up. You think that's not going to inspire them to want to go out there and not even have to persevere? Go out there and just dominate, just like you know you're supposed to. Because who's better than you when you got this riding with you? Perseverance. Tibetans say that being virtuous is as hard as driving a stubborn donkey uphill, while doing destructive things is as easy as rolling boulders downhill. It doesn't matter how patient, generous, or wise we can be. If we can't overcome laziness, we'll never be able to benefit anyone. With heroic courage and perseverance, we become like warriors, ready to face any internal or external battle in our quest to reach enlightenment and benefit all other beings, right? And then we just reach the championship, right? And benefit all the other teams, right? The Key 20 team is going to benefit from this. The younger lift team is going to benefit from this, right? Reaching that goal, seeing that thing in the distance, and we're going in that direction, and what it's going to be when we get there. But to get there, it's going to take courage. It's going to take perseverance. The fourth of the 6 reaching attitudes is perseverance. It's defined as a state of mind that energetically engages in constructive behavior and maintains effort in it. But it entails much more than just sticking to some positive task. It includes heroic courage not to give up and joy in doing something constructive. This is not about having a real hardworking attitude where we hate our work but still do it anyway out of the sense of duty, guilt, obligation, or something like that. Nor is it about going at it every day mechanically like a workaholic. It's not what we call short-term enthusiasm, where we're really excited about doing something, putting in a tremendous amount of energy into it, but then burn out and give up after a week. We're talking here about sustained effort and enthusiasm. And that's why it's called perseverance. The reason it's sustainable is because we enjoy what we're doing, all of the positive work we're engaging in. Perseverance coupled with heroic courage is the best opponent to laziness and procrastination. Right? So during the first half, laziness, people not getting back on defense, people getting blown by their man, people not putting their hand up when somebody's shooting, all these things were lacking, right? Everybody just standing around looking at the guy with the ball. All these things playing out. Armor-like perseverance. There are 3 kinds of perseverance, the first of which is armor-like. This is the willingness to go on and on and on, no matter how long it takes or difficult it gets. Whatever happens, we're going to get lazy or discouraged. If we know that the Dharma path will take a really, really long time, and if we're willing to even go to the hells to be able to help others, then it's impossible to become lazy or discouraged by any smaller problem that may come up. We have an armor-like attitude that nothing whatsoever is going to shake me. This kind of heroic courage protects us from any difficulty we encounter, because we've already decided that no matter how difficult things get or how long it takes, we're going to do it. Right? So at the half, we were talking about it's not done yet. At the half, down 23, there was no defeatist attitude that this stuff is over. Oh man, just pack it up and give up, right? Be discouraged being down. In a way, the longer we expect enlightenment to take, the quicker it'll come. Whereas if we expect it to come immediately and easily, well, then it takes forever. Many great texts and teachers have said that if we're seeking instant, easy enlightenment, then it's basically a sign of our own selfishness and laziness. We want results, but we're not into spending a lot of time helping others. We just want to get the delicious dessert of enlightenment. Essentially, we're lazy. We don't want to put in the hard work that's involved. We want enlightenment on sale. We want it as cheap as we can get it. But this kind of bargain can never work out. When we have compassion with the attitude that I'm going to work for 3 zillion eons to build up positive force to help others, the enormous scope of this heroic courage helps to bring enlightenment much more quickly. Perseverance applied to constructive actions. The second type of perseverance is the strong effort in engaging in positive, constructive actions to build up the positive force needed to bring us to enlightenment. This means that we're not lazy about doing our preliminary practices, prostrations, and so forth, nor lazy in studying, learning, and meditating. We do need to do all these things, and we should delight in doing them. And then the Quran's talking about, the eternal happiness and toiling and being happy when you toil. And all the frowns, turn those frowns upside down, because you should be happy when you toil. You should be happy when you're studying, when you're learning. Perseverance of working for the benefit of limited beings. The third type of perseverance is the strong effort involved in working to help and benefit others, which refers to the 4 ways to gather others under our positive influence and working with 11 types of people to help that they are also discussed in terms of far-reaching ethical discipline. They're not exactly identical, however. Basically, here it means to actively help these kind of people in various ways that would be appropriate with this perseverance. We take pleasure in doing all of this, feeling really happy that we're able to benefit others. Additionally, with patience, we're going to endure whatever hardships are involved. And with ethical self-discipline, we're going to avoid all of these disturbing emotions that would prevent us from actually helping them. It's clear how the various far-reaching attitudes support each other. The 3 types of laziness. There are 3 types of laziness that might interrupt our perseverance. In order to practice and develop perseverance, we need to overcome laziness. The laziness of lethargy and procrastination. Many of us have firsthand experience of this type of laziness, where we always want to put things off until tomorrow. To overcome this, we should think about and meditate on death and impermanence. We need to understand that we will certainly die, that we have absolutely no clue when death will come, and that is the precious human life that gives us the opportunity to do so many amazing things is difficult to come by. My favorite Zen koan is death can come at any time. Relax. It's good to ponder this statement. It's true that death can strike at any moment, but if we're so uptight and nervous and tense about it, then we're never going to accomplish anything. We'll feel, I have to do everything today, and become fanatics, which is not helpful. Yes, we're going to die and it can happen any second, but if we want to take advantage of this life, then we have to be relaxed about these 2 facts. If we always have an intense fear of death, then we'll always feel we'll never have enough time. The laziness of clinging to what is petty. The second type of laziness is being attached to trivial matters, which again, many of us understand easily. We waste so much time watching TV and gossiping, chatting nonsense with friends, talking about sports, and so on. This stuff is regarded as a waste of time. It is basically a form of laziness. Simply, it's so much easier to sit in front of a television than it is to meditate, right? We become attached to these ordinary, mundane things through our own laziness, not wanting to try and do something that might be more difficult, but much more meaningful. This doesn't mean that we can't stop for some entertainment or relaxation, because sometimes we need to in order to revitalize ourselves. The point is not to become attached to it and to overdo it because of laziness. We can always take a break, go for a walk, watch a TV show, but we don't need to become attached to it. When we've had enough, we go back to more positive things we were doing before. The best way to overcome clinging to what is petty is to think about how the pleasures and satisfaction we get from mundane accomplishments and activities never bring us lasting happiness. It doesn't matter how many movies we see, or how much gossip about celebrities, or how much we travel to different places. It will never bring us an ounce of lasting happiness. The only way to get this lasting happiness is to train ourselves in the Dharma methods that lead to it. We could spend all of our time training to be able to kick a ball into a net, but that's never going to get us a better rebirth. So the main point to take away is not to be attached. We might do something for relaxation, and that's fine, but to become attached to the activity and spend all of our effort on it because we're too lazy to do anything more constructive, that's just a waste. This kind of laziness really is a hindrance to us really taking joy in doing constructive things. The laziness of being discouraged. The third type of laziness is when we have delusions of incapability, that things are simply too difficult for us and we'll never be able to do them. And so we're discouraged. Often how we think, oh, I'm not even going to attempt that. How could someone like me ever do it? A big goal like enlightenment can seem daunting, but to not even attempt is a form of laziness. Like the big goal, right? The championship was right there. They had it out, the table was there, the rings and everything were there, so you could see it. Right? And down 23. And the goal was far. The goal was way down there. It was almost a blip. Couldn't even really make it out. Towel could have been thrown in. I said, oh, forget this. Down 23. We can't do anything with this. No, but they were overly encouraged. Because while those people had their 50 whoever's, we had our 5. Right? And on top of them being encouraged, we were encouraging them down 23. That it's really not over. Yeah, get some stops. Yeah, you should do that. And then everybody started working together. And it got out of this one-man show or two-man show. Everyone played a part. Everyone realized, like it was like at the same time, the people who were on the back, they realized, hey, what did oh yeah, this is what the fans used to do, and then they started chanting and all this. Like down. To get over this, we need to recall Buddha nature, the fact that each of us has various amazing qualities and potentials that we can fulfill. If so many people are capable of working from morning until night just to make a little bit of profit selling chewing gum or who knows what, then we're definitely capable of putting in time to achieve something much more significant. If we can stand in line for hours and hours to get a ticket to go to a concert that lasts just 90 minutes, then we should never think that we're incapable of doing something constructive that leads to the everlasting goal of enlightenment. The 4 supports for developing perseverance. Shantideva describes 4 supports that help us develop perseverance. Firm conviction. We gain the strong intention to put the teachings into practice from having firm conviction in the positive qualities of the Dharma and the benefit it brings us. Steadfastness and self-pride. We need steadfastness and stability based on self-confidence and an understanding of Buddha nature. When we're really convinced about Buddha nature, the basic potential within all of us, then we'll automatically have incredible self-confidence, which Shantideva calls pride or self-pride. If we have self-confidence, we'll be stable and steady in our effort. No matter what ups and downs there are, we'll persevere with heroic courage. And then Drew Ali said, what? If you have race pride, if you have pride in who you are, then join the Moore Science Temple of America and put yourself to use. Use that self-confidence and instill confidence in others. Because this is really all about helping others. This is really all about taking our gifts, which everybody took their gift, right? The one who was the fastest with the dribbling was the one who decided to, I'm going to take the ball, right? And then somebody else seeing that, hey, all game, they couldn't stop this guy with the ball. How about you just give him the ball every time and everybody else just find your position? And all these little things, right? Which then, gave him confidence. That, oh yeah, they actually can't stop me. Right? Delight. The 3rd support is taking joy in what we're doing. It's a feeling of satisfaction and contentment with what we're doing with our lives. It is the most self-satisfying and fulfilling thing to work at developing ourselves and to work at helping others. When we do this, it naturally produces a great sense of joy within us. And the joy of knowing about our nationality and birthrights. The joy of winning the championship. The joy of getting to the end of that book. Whatever it is that you persevered through in developing yourself. Be happy. Pump your chest about it. Right? Do your gorilla. Beat the chest and scream. Right? Be joyful, especially when you persevere. Especially when you know you're getting to that place, that goal. And you see that everything is paying off. Doing whatever it is that is paying off. 4, letting go. The final support is knowing when to take a rest. We shouldn't exert ourselves to the point where we just drop and give up and can't face going back to what we were doing. We need to find the middle way between pushing ourselves too hard and treating ourselves like a baby. The point is not saying that every time we feel just a little bit tired, we should lie down for a nap. Nevertheless, Triyang Rinpoche, the late junior tutor of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, said that when we're in a really bad negative mood and none of the other Dharma methods seem to be helping us, then the best thing is to take a nap. When we wake up, our mood will be different just by the nature of taking a nap. This is very practical advice. 2 further factors in developing heroic courage. Shantideva points out 2 further factors that help. Readily accepting. The first is to readily accept what we need to practice and accept what we need to give up. In addition, we need to accept the hardships involved. All of this is based on realistically examining each point and our ability in dealing with them. This entails accepting that we actually need this constructive act and the constructive act in order to help others and reach enlightenment. We accept there are things we need to stop doing and that there's going to be hardships involved. We accept it and take it upon ourselves, knowing our ability and what is realistically involved. We shouldn't have an unrealistic attitude. If we plan to do 100,000 prostrations, we have to know that it's not going to be easy. Our legs are going to hurt. Our palms will become sore. We're definitely going to be tired. So we remind ourselves of the benefits, right? We knew that it was going to be a hard road. We knew it was going to be a hard road. Right? But when it got to 10, the road got easier. And then when it got to 6 and 5 and tied, you know how much confidence you get? You know how defeated you are? Up 23. And now it's seconds left and it's tied. And again, it goes back to that will. That inner, that inner thing. When that inner thing, we had more of it than them. We had more of it than them. When they dropped 23 and it was tied, we knew at that point they were done. But all we needed was one basket. That was it. And we know that their legs were hurting. But more so, we know that their mind was hurting. We know that their heart was hurting because they were over there going crazy. They were over there popping champagne and all that stuff at the half. Right? This one man with the ugliest jump shot ever was hitting stuff, from half court. Just chucking it. Stuff's going in. Mesh. Chucking. When I say chucking. Like not jump shooting, chucking. That was his jump shot. Every time he scored, yelling and all that. What about the stuff we need to stop doing? For a start, we need to make time in order to do it. And that can be difficult enough already. Cutting things out just to make time. We examine ourselves honestly to see, can I do it? We accept the reality of what's involved and put our hearts into it with joyous enthusiasm. Taking control. Shantideva's second point of developing heroic perseverance is that once we have a realistic attitude of accepting the above, we take control to actually apply ourselves. With willpower, we don't just let ourselves act in any old type of way, especially laziness. We take control and apply ourselves to the positive work we want to accomplish. As we would say in English, we put our heart into it. Summary: when you're truly convinced of the benefits of practicing the Dharma and see how the happiness it can provide is incomparable, perseverance in it naturally develops. It won't matter what's happening in our life. If we have strong motivation combined with perseverance, then like a hero, we'll achieve our aims. Perseverance helps us to overcome one of the greatest obstacles many of us face as we try to reach our goals: laziness. The methods described here are useful, not only as we progress along our path to enlightenment, but also for more mundane aims throughout our life. And they took control. When the realization came that we could actually come back, and win this thing down 23. There was the perseverance was joyous. It wasn't an uphill battle anymore. We reached the pinnacle. We planted our flag. Now it was time for a descent. And we came down with the everything. Came down with it all. Just because stuck to the program. Right. Got back to what it is we're supposed to be doing from the beginning. That was a good lesson for today. If you have any questions, if you're new here, welcome. You could put your questions in the chat in all caps. You can put your questions in all caps. Matter of fact, if you have any lessons, if you have any perseverance testimonials, just push the button. Just push the link, and you can get in here and give us your perseverance lesson, whether it's life or, you experience something through someone else, whatever it is. But perseverance is the subject matter. Other than that, if you have any questions, put it in the chat in all caps. So honors to the lift team. Honors being the champs, putting in that work. The rings are pretty cool too. The rings are cool. They went all out. And then those brothers just started another league. Another league today. Playing right now. Go try win again in another league. Supreme honors. How do we as Moors, let me put this over there. How do we as Moors enforce the de jure government in Ontario, the Republic? The de jure government is the Moorish government. The de jure government isn't U.S. or, Canada, whatever. They're not the government. U.S., the Republic, Moors are pre that. We've been here governing ourselves. The real government is what it is that Noble Drew Ali brought us. That's why we have a national flag. But our conditioning has us forgetting that they're not really the government. We are. And what we should be is governing ourselves. Right? So when Noble Drew Ali was around and they had national grand sheiks and they had grand governors, they had Supreme Grand Council. All these things are the setting up of the government. The enforcement of the Constitution is to hold the colonists in check. But they haven't been going by a Constitution for years. They haven't been going by the Constitution. Because they realize that to wake up these people is like putting a pair of pants on a horse. And all they had to do is get ones on the inside to start working for them in order that the power doesn't sway into the hands of the Moors. It stays with these modern European colonists. So when we look at in Ontario, that's a corpse. Canaanland is part of Morocco. Canaanland is part of the Moroccan Empire. There's no Ontario and Saskatchewan and all that. All those are corporate jurisdictions. Again, the issue that we have is lack of unity through nationality. There was nothing Moorish out here before 2008. Nothing. There was nothing Moorish. Everything was Negro, black, colored, African, Native American, Native Indian, and all that. First Nations and all that. That's all there was. There was nothing Moorish. 2008, we're why Moorish started here. We're why the consciousness of knowing about our nationality as Moors. Now, there's at least 4 or 5 different whoever's that are making the claim that they're the official Moorish whatever, and it's not us. And what all those other whoever's did was just cause confusion. To now, you're talking about how do we as Moors enforce the de jure when they were supposed to be down with this from 2008. They're not supposed to be down with this new age whoever's that are making whatever claims they're making about trust or about secured party creditor or about whatever it is that they're making up. Because all of it is BS. The only way through is through what Noble Drew Ali brought, but people don't want to deal with that because they think this is some religious thing, so they don't want to be part of the Moorish Science Temple. They don't want to do anything with the Moorish Science Temple because that's not a nation. But there's a national flag, though. There's a national flag. There's nationality. There's the institution that can be used to protect your rights established. But people don't want that. They want some fiction. Right? So creating a Moorish trust is New Age BS? Yeah, because there's no trust. You have a trust when there's no trust. There's no trust. Moors murdered Noble Drew Ali. That wasn't some Europeans that did that. Right? If you're doing a trust, that's your personal whatever. That has nothing to do with any other Moors. That has nothing to do with any temple. That has nothing to do with any of that. That's your personal stuff that you're doing if you're saying trust and all that. That's because you personally have property that you personally want to hand down to your heirs. So you're going to put that stuff in a trust so that you stop using it and they inherit it. That's what you have a trust for. If you have a trust for anything else, playing games. You don't have a trust to put your conveyance in it so that now you can use the conveyance without having a license. So no, you're putting anything you put in the trust is to hand down to heirs. And if you're handing down to heirs, then you can't use it. It's not yours. If you're giving it to them, why is it yours? That's what a trust is for, to protect the property that you're passing down to your heirs. Other than that, you're putting your property in a trust to protect it from criminals calling themselves government. So if you're putting your stuff in a trust to protect it from criminals calling themselves government, you still can't use it because it's in the trust. It's not for use. You're not going out there and buying gold to go take the gold to the grocery store to go buy groceries with it. That's not what you're collecting gold for, or silver. To go out there and go give them the gold for them to give you what in change? They're giving you gold change or something. But again, this goes back to the thing about the confusion. Because the enforcement of the Constitution is to keep the modern European colonists pretending to be government in check. That's what it's for. They violate, use the Constitution to show them that they're violating. But if you haven't done that, as we haven't done that, then the worst is yet to come, which is what we're in right now, because we didn't listen to Noble Drew Ali in the 20s. So don't get mad. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You were born into this. You didn't cause this. But with everything that Noble Drew Ali set up, they didn't stop anything. Everything's still there. Our people just don't want it. Our people just doesn't want it. Does your temple pay the colonizer? Yeah, you pay the colonizer. We gotta rent the building that we have. You think it's some Moorish sultan or something like that owns the building? No. Place is under colonization. Of course you're gonna pay the colonizer. Those shoes you got, didn't you pay the colonizer for those? That apple that you're eating, didn't you get that from the colonizer grocery store? What you mean? Of course. Which temple's not paying the colonizer right now? Find me a temple that's not paying the colonizer. How about that question? And if they're telling you they're not, they're a liar. How are we under colonization, but we're not paying the colonizer? Right? Moors have this thing of some perfect world stuff. When what are you talking about? You don't see places under colonization? People sold out Noble Drew Ali. Our position as a temple is keeping what Noble Drew Ali brought alive in our time. Right after I transition, whatever people do with this, that's for them to do it. It has nothing to do with me after I transition. I know since I'm here, all I got is Drew Ali and what he brought. I don't got anything else. So I'm going Drew Ali, whether it's just me in there, whether it's me and 10 other Moors in there, whether it's me and 500 other Moors, I'm with Drew Ali. That's where I'm at in my lifetime, because I've been with all the other whoever's, and all the other stuff is BS. Drew Ali's the only thing that manifested and showed me for real what's going on. Mm-hmm. How can Moors help decolonization here in Canaanland? By finding people out there who are unconscious. We're saying, how can Moors, right? So we're talking about Moors who already know that they're Moors, right? So what those people have to do who know that they're Moors in order to stop decolonization is to get their people to come join the temple. Get their people to support what Noble Drew Ali founded. And if more people did that, right, instead of knowing about their birthrights and then they're over here harboring it for themselves, or they know about their birthrights but they're over here selling it as a package to people, or whatever crap they're doing with the birthright. If you want to stop decolonization, it's really about being self-sufficient. But you can't be self-sufficient without a nationality. I don't care what you got. So if we're saying that we have the remedy, nationality and birthrights, and then we're going out and telling people, hey, nationality and birthrights, right? And then showing and proving, we're not just talking about it, we're actually being it, so that they can see that this is what it is. Right? Colonization will be done tomorrow. This is as far as Canaanland. Well, like I said, we've been here since 2008, right? Putting this word out about nationality birthrights, and realize what Noble Drew Ali said in the 1920s. Oh, it's few faithful Moors. It's actually few faithful Moors. He knew exactly what he was talking about when he said few faithful Moors. We know exactly what he was talking about when he said few faithful Moors. Because really that's what's keeping this alive. What's keeping this going on, right? If every Moor out there was Alim and Grand Sheikh Nature and Taj and these people, if every Moor was like them, was like C. Freeman L. If every Moor was like C. Freeman L., how far do you think this thing will be right now? Right? But like the Moor said, who the hat fit won't wear it. And what am I going to do if they don't want to wear their hat? It's their hat. They don't want to wear it. What am I supposed to do? I'm wearing mine. So, to each his own. Is there a temple in Canaanland that supports and is actively trying to decolonize and enforce the Republic Constitution? The only temple in Canaanland is temple number 5. Because enforcing the Republic Constitution is not happening unless the people have a nationality. Everybody wants to do stuff as a ward in Canaanland. They don't want nationality. They want to fight as wards. All right, then no enforcing the Constitution's happening then. Because how are you going to enforce the Constitution if you don't have a nationality? And the 20 Moors who have proclaimed their nationality, Every time they say their nationality, they're enforcing the Constitution. Every time they stand for their right, they're enforcing the Constitution. Every time they're talking up, they're enforcing the Constitution. The only way you're getting through is through what Noble Drew Ali brought. There's no other options, because Noble Drew Ali was the only one telling us about nationality. And nationality is still the order of the day, as it shouldn't be. Everybody's supposed to know what's up by now. At least from 2008, the amount of people that we've seen come in the temple and leave and all that stuff because of whatever emotional whatever that they got going on that they don't want to deal with. They want to blame the temple as if the temple could do something to them. They want to blame others instead of recognizing that it's them. They're the problem. And nothing else is the problem. How about look at self instead of blaming stuff all around you? How about look at yourself? But they don't want to look at yourself. And then they realize that it's them. Right? It wasn't the colonists that kicked their ass. That's not what happened. You were doing something that you shouldn't have been doing. That's why your ass got kicked. You were going where you're not supposed to go. You know you're supposed to make a right and go to work. Why are you going left and going all around there and going there and going down there and all that stuff for? If you're doing what you're supposed to do, maybe certain stuff wouldn't happen to you. But people don't want to take accountability, especially when they're more, because it's everybody else's fault when they get violated as Moors, right? It's not them. Somebody else did it. The colonists did it, so we gotta know it was probably you. And again, it's training. We've been conditioned to think a certain way. We've been conditioned. It's real time. When we realize what Noble Drew Ali brought for us, and we realize that what he brought for us was the salvation that we're complaining about, that we don't have, or we need, or somebody needs to do, and we already know. As far as our spending, we're the biggest spending people on the planet, but we're never spending to anything that's our own. Everybody else is spending on their own, right? Like we brought up, there's a Toronto Chinese basketball league where they have their own malls, their own mall. Chinese came here after us to Canaanland. They came here, they have their own mall with basketball courts in them. Right. How do you think they got that? How do they have their own malls and all that stuff? How do they have their own whatever it is that they have? That's their own. You think they spend finance outside of themselves? Right. How many MSTA are there in North America if Canaanland is Chapter 5? No, we're not 5 because of some sequential order or something like that. We're 5 because the Moors who brought us into this, and gave us a charter, They saw we were doing things on the 5 principles, so we're temple number 5. It's not 5 because, right? Like they were subordinate temple number 5 because of the 5 principles, not because of there's a number 1 or a number 20. Because when we met by the end of the weekend, they looked at us as the embodiment of the 5 principles. So that was the energy that was created for us. The energy that was created for us was 5 principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. That's the 5 of chapter number 5. But as far as North America, but including Dirty Moors and whoever else, there's hundreds of temples. There's temples all over. Temples all over. But remember, Moor Science Temple isn't just Moor Science Temple. Moor Science Temple is also all these groups that people make up, but don't call it Moor Science Temple, but they're doing all the things that Noble Drew Ali was doing. That's Moor Science Temple. They're just playing games. Or they realized that Moor Science Temple was playing games, so they started their own thing. But what they started was supposed to be Moor Science Temple, or Moorish Holy Temple of Science. But because of the treason in the Moorish movement, they said they're going to do their own thing, which I can't wrong them. When you get your birthrights and you're trying to go to the temple to get certain things done, and they're not to that capacity that you want things done, then you're going to start your own thing. Because these people aren't living up to the standard that they're supposed to be living up to. There's some great Moorish organizations out there that's doing good work. And the only way they're affiliated to a temple is because they're a member of it. But them being a member of a temple and realizing that, oh, their temple's not doing anything, and they go out there and do something different, that doesn't mean that they stop doing their temple stuff or whatever. They're still doing their temple, going to their meetings and all that stuff. They just have their own Moorish thing that they're doing because their temple's not at the capacity to have a ball team and put teams into a league so that we could play or set up our own league or whatever. There's no capacity to do that. That's amazing. You should promote that more, that your temple is the foundation of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. No, I mean, that's not something to promote. That's what all the temples are. That's what it's supposed to be. That's our principles. Drew Ali said we got to live by the principles. Like, that was those Moors wanting to give us a subordinate number. They weren't going to give us number 1 because, it wasn't some ego thing like we're the first ones or something like that. They weren't going to do that because that's just not those Moors. So they said 5 for the 5 principles. That's anything that's 5. We have 5 on the left, 2 on the right. 5 is the 5 principles. 2 is the nationality and birthrights. That's the foundation of this. So it's always being promoted. It's always being promoted. There's not a time that it's not promoted. As soon as you see the Canaanland Moor Science Temple, that's promoting it. See, it's perspective. So people's perspective is warped because they're listening to 500 other whoever's tell them about what this is about instead of going to the foundation. Is the Star Spangled Banner the foundation of a flag? The Star Spangled Banner is only the foundation of a flag if it's being used for amity and commerce. If it's not being used for amity and commerce and it's being used as some government, whatever like that, then that's a banner. That's nothing to do with flag. Star Spangled Banner is only a flag if it's being used for amity and commerce. That's the only way that could be used as a flag. Yeah, the only way. And then you already know it being used as amity is because it's supposed to be next to the Moroccan flag, which is the connection. Right? So the Star Spangled Banner shouldn't be flying without the Moroccan flag next to it. Anytime you see the Star Spangled Banner flying, there's supposed to be a Moroccan flag somewhere around there. If there isn't, somebody's playing you, posing with the ring the alarm, pose the U.S banner as a flag. Because it can't be a flag unless the Moroccan flag is right there. If you have any more questions, just put them in the chat. We don't shy away from questions here. We don't shy away from questions. Any questions, just put them in the chat in all caps. Islam to all the Moors in the chat. Honors to all. And always remember, once you're talking about U.S and Canada, you're talking about corpses. That's not government. The government are the indigenous people governing themselves. If the indigenous people don't have a nationality, they can't govern themselves. They remain wards. If the indigenous people know about nationality, but then they're not at the temple or supporting the temple or honoring Noble Drew Ali, then they're wasting their time. Because you can't have a Moorish nationality and not give honors to the ones who brought you that nationality back to you. That's treason. You can't run around claiming that you're a Moor and all that stuff, and then when you start asking you about Noble Drew Ali and Moorish Science Temple, you're not saying there's one that you're supporting. You're saying all of them are nah. Because there are some active Moors out here. There are some righteous Moors. There are. They might be few, but they're out here. How does a Moor deal with DNA testing pertaining to a child? But the only way you do a DNA test is giving your blood or whatever, and so I mean that's just what it is. If they're talking about blood, that's my property, I don't want to give it to them and all that stuff. If you want to know if that's your child, then that's the only way. There's no other way you're gonna find out. So You know, if you're thinking you don't want to give the blood and all that stuff, then I don't know how else you're gonna find out if it's yours without doing that. And again, you know, DNA testing facility or whatever, wherever you got to go to do that, there should be a Moorish one of those for you to go to. And if there's not, then that lets you know how these people played you out of your birthrights. That now you got to go to the colonists, DNA, whoever, to go get the, you know. So for example, if she's hitting you up for 5,000 a month, and you know that that's not yours, you better go get the damn test. Stop playing around. Stop playing. You know. Well, I'm a Moor, so I don't have to go to the colonists. All right, then you stay there paying your $5,000 a month, then playing games. You play games all you want to, if it's like that, you know. So I'm thinking that's where you're going about not having to give the blood for the DNA test, or not giving up whatever bodily fluid you got to give up to get the DNA test. I'm pretty sure that's where you're going. You know, so because we don't have one of our own, and you got to go to them for it, then you got to go to them for it. You're not going to them because they're in some superiority position over you. You're going to them out of private necessity. You don't have any other option but to go to them. That's why you're going to them. You're not going to them because you got options and you're choosing to work with the colonists. You know what I mean? If there was a Moor that we could rent from, we would be renting from them. There ain't no Moors have property to rent from. So it's probably going to be a Jew that we got to rent our property from. That's just what it is. You know, I'm not going to be, beholden to that or something like that. Like, it's my fault. I got to pay a Jew for something. You know, it's not my fault. That's Moors before me fault who sold out, didn't do their job or whatever. You know, I'm not holding that. Any more questions? Put it in the chat. We're here. I know, yeah, and also the perseverance. If you have any perseverance lessons, you can put that in the chat in all caps. Do I need permission from the local Grand Sheik to wear my crown fez? Do you need permission from your Grand Sheik to wear your boxers, your briefs, or whatever? You need permission from your Grand Sheik to take a shower? You need permission from your Grand Sheik to whatever you would do for your life? No, but then you shouldn't need permission from a Grand Sheik to wear a fez. That's crazy talk. Grand Sheik, can I take a shower? That Grand Sheik's wild. Grand Sheik's telling you that? That Grand Sheik's wilding. Super wilding. And then if you're sitting there not wearing the fez because Grand Sheik said you can't wear a fez, you're wilding. That's called slavery. Are you Slavic or are you a Moor? If you're Slavic, then yeah, Grand Sheik has to give you permission to wear your fez. Not the turban though? Is there a difference between earning a fez and buying a fez? There's no difference if you're looking at both of those from self. So if you're looking at owning a fez from the perspective of self, right? Then when you feel qualified, you would go get your fez, right? You earned it yourself, right? If the temple has fezzes by the box, and then you have to, crawl under, you have to do the limbo stuff and all that in order to earn it. So because you did the limbo, at 2 feet, now you get your fez. Because if you're 2 feet and above, there's no fez for you. Something's fishy. Or if you go to some fez dealer or something like that, and they're telling you 500 for a fez. Buying a fez there's a big difference between buying a fez if it's 500 versus 50 or 100 or something. So it depends. But the earning it is self. So like we had put more on being aware of the energies when you got your first fez, so how it felt, getting the box and opening the box and then putting it on, wearing it for the first time. This is just in the house. We're not even talking about wearing it outside yet. Wearing it in the house, in the mirror, seeing you in it for the first time, putting the tassel on the different sides and all this, going through all the rituals that come with having a first fez, right? The earning a fez, the earning a fez part applies with that. When you get it for the first time, wherever you got it from, doesn't matter, but the first time putting a fez on, that whole ritual, that's really to earn the fez, not somebody gifting you a fez. Right. Is there a difference between legal and illegal immigrants? So the legal and illegal is touchy because of jurisdiction. And so we'll say lawful and unlawful. So the lawful immigrants would be the ones that came here through some naturalization process through the indigenous people whose land it is. The illegals are the ones who, get off the boat on the shore, and then they just run through the bushes, murdering people, steal their stuff and all that. Those are the illegal ones, or the unlawful ones. The legal immigrants are the ones who know that this is their land and they can go wherever it is that they're gonna go, different territories, and there's no issues. The illegal ones are the ones who put borders and tell people they need passports and all that stuff in order for them to go somewhere, and then if they don't, people are illegal. The ones who have the borders and all that stuff, they're actually the illegal immigrants. Especially when it comes to the Americas. Ones who are claiming border games. being illegal immigrants, not being indigenous people with a border. I'm saying being foreigners, and then foreigners saying there's a border. You can't cross unless you show us our documents or whatever. But when you're talking with right and wrong and all that stuff, it's better to use lawful and unlawful. Don't forget every Wednesday, Canaanland Moore's Q&A season 2. And for season 2, we're answering chat questions. So anybody who has questions, just bring it to the chat, and we'll deal with you. We'll answer the best that we can. Assist you in your liberation. Any more questions? Time flies when you're having fun, huh? What are some good assignments for a Moor that's trying to relearn? I'm in my 20s. Islam Moor. The relearning is really from getting from the right sources, right? So as far as being in your 20s and knowing that you're a Moor, I would say all the RV Bay publications books, get those. All the Khalifa Media books, get those. And if you're a reader, because those books are small. A lot of them are small, like other than the Torch and them ones, but majority of those books are small. They're easy to digest, and there's lots of reference points in them. For you to do further research. It's important that you learn about Moorish history, Moorish law, Moorish metaphysics, Moorish anything Moorish. Learn from a Moor. Right? Don't listen to too many other whoever's tell you about who the Moors are, what the Moors brought, or whatever like that. Get it from Moors. I think like that's probably the best assignment. Your foundation being from Moors, right? And the Moors have to be credible. You should be asking about Moors. You should mention a Moor to Moors, and then it should be a resounding, oh yeah, that Moor, and nothing but good works. So if we say Hakeem Bey, right? You say Hakeem Bey. We're talking about Moors that we know that has literature. Hakeem Bey has a good stack of literature that are small, easy to digest, but they're jam packed with references. Journal of the Moorish Paradigm. You get some of his books; those will be helpful. It's really where you get the info. Because there's with so many different whoever's out here saying that they're Moors and having websites and social media and reels and shorts and all this. There's a lot of confusion as well. So you want to, right? The reason why we talk like this, for example, when we came into this in 2008, right? There was only master teachers. The only way you're learning this is from master teachers. You're not learning this from any Joe Blow saying that, you know, they can go live. The individuals who we were learning from in 08, they had pristine reputation. Right? There's no, you're finding out some BS about them, have you questioning, well, are they really? There was none of that, right? They were 100%. And you're gonna go ask about them, and you're gonna get nothing but positive results, because everybody who learned, studied from them, it changed their life, right? The other part of it is that there were lectures then, so you can actually go and meet these individuals, not like the whoever's today charging 15,000 and all that stuff. You can't even meet them. Everything is send them an email or DM them or some crap, right? And then you're giving your finance up. And then the people who you're meeting, you're fighting to give them 50 notes because they said 50 notes for a book or something like that, right? But you give 15 grand to somebody you don't even know, you never even met before. You don't even have their phone number. All you got is emails from them. You know, so that was how we were brought up, with master teachers, which is why, you know, we don't just push anything or anybody, because a lot of people aren't credible. You know, they say they're for the Moorish and all that stuff, and then when you know, go check their site, they're telling you 18,000. You know, 900-hour consultation and stupid stuff. You know. So if you get all the books off of RV Bay Publications and Khalifa Media, you just get those books only, and focus on those books for 6 months. You know, you get them, you study from those, go get your references, study from those, you know, research the references, study from those, research from your notebook, study from those, you know, do a book report on all these different books that you got. You know, it could be a mental book report. It doesn't have to be, you know, you sitting there like school or whatever. You know, just do your research. You'll find your way. You know, as far as like the online stuff, hands down, I would say Kush Day, because he probably influenced more of the new-minded Moors. You know, the Moors kept coming into this from, say, like the mid 2010s to now. You know, there was a shift in the frequency. You know, with the, from the readers to the online, what do you call it? Short attention span people. You know, Kush Bay has like a upgraded feel. You know, it's like a 2.0. You know, versus the download versus the book. You know, the PDF versus the book. You know, and then you're always going to get reference points with him. You're always going to get some book to go get. And again, that's coming from a Moor. That's not a black guy telling you go get this book, because it's a Moor telling you get the book, which is totally different. You know, because there's specifics that you're getting these reference points for. You know, because they don't want to spread too wide. You want to have a confined space when it comes to your master teachers. You don't want the universe of master teachers, because you're going to get some traders in there. You want that space to be tight, shoulder to shoulder. That's who your master teacher is supposed to be, so you don't get lost. Don't get played. And again, if you have any questions, you could always email canaanlandguide@gmail.com. And you could also use our chat to connect with Moors, because there's rarely any trolls that get through our chat. They don't stand a chance over here with the chat muftis. When the chat muftis get on their case, that's how you know that they're a traitor. But all these different realms, the chats and lives, and I've been seeing more like Brother Sheldon on stereo still, or those ones there. There's so many different little platforms. You just want to use your discernment, because who you get information from is a key element to where some people take this. The ones who I know that studied from the same master teachers that I had, they don't have issues. And if they have issues, they're manageable. The ones who don't want the master teachers, they wanted to listen to whoever out there. They have stuff going on that they probably don't know how to handle, or having a hard time handling. Because sometimes the stream gets contaminated, and then you can't tell, because you're not going to know who did it. But the good thing with the master teachers is that the lessons that they give you is like that stuff. The lesson that they give you is like that stuff that they put in the pool, so you can know who pissed in the pool. So once you get the master teacher's teachings, and that resonates with you properly, then you're going to see who pissed in the pool, to know who the dirty bastards are. So before they throw the stuff in there, who knows how long they've been pissing in the pool water going in your mouth and all that stuff. Right? You don't even know you've been getting piss in your mouth the whole time. And of course, Noble Drew Ali's literature, 101 questionnaire, study that. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple, Holy Quran of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. Definitely lessons there. Supreme lessons there. Was that crazy? We just mentioned Kush Day and then he pops in here. Oh, we just mentioned Sheldon L and he pops in. I wonder if he was in there before. I wasn't looking at the chat. But right. Definitely Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple. Mysteries of the Silent Brotherhood of the East. 101 questionnaire. Moorish literature. Hands down. Those books for sure. And then the RV Bay publications and the Khalifa Media books. Once you get those, if you stick with those, get those, study those, you'll be good. You'll be good in a 4 or 5 years. You'll have a firm foundation. You know, a firm foundation. And definitely there's undercover Masons in the Moorish movement, most definitely. And Masons are some of the biggest confusion whoever's, because they know better. They know all this info that the master teachers know. You know all this info that the master teachers know, and they're being selective with what they're giving. You know? Honors to all. It's good to be back for a Sunday session with the Moors. Honors to all the Moors in the chat. Supreme love to all. Honors to all the Moors in the chat. Too many to name. Honors to all the Moors, wherever you're at. You've been riding with Canaanland Moors. Honors to you. Supreme honors. Honors to our prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Brought us everything that it takes to save a nation, and told us to save ourselves. Honors to all the Moors. Let's rise out and close this session. Honors, Moors. Islam. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam. Islam. Honors, Moors. See you Moors on Wednesday, Q&A Wednesday. Honors to Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Honors to all the Moors in the chat. Supreme love. Long live the empire. Islam.